Hello, welcome back. Today it's all about adventures, and I've decided that we're definitely going to continue making adventures. There's no intention not to stop making adventures, but I also want to have a discussion at some point about artificial intelligence and making adventures with artificial intelligence. But that's not really the topic for today. This is all about making your own crazy homebrew adventures, building your own stuff, how to do it, how to make it work, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. I suggest grabbing some food, some drink. Make sure you have your brain turned on, and we're gonna do lots of stuff today. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Anyway, I am going to give you a presentation. This presentation I've run before. It takes about I think roughly 20 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And then we'll do some adventure building. We will build or create an adventure, and you will assist me in doing so. In fact, you'll be doing most of the work. I will just prompting the chat to do whatever needs to be done. So yes, I hope you enjoy this. In any case, let's get started, shall we? That's why you're here in the first place. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about role-playing games. This is Game Master Preparation. This is where we're going to be creating, as Lesson 1, some crazy homebrew adventure building. This is some guidance, give you an idea of what you need to sort of do, just to get yourself started, and then of course it's really completely up to you. So what am I covering today? Well, the types of adventures. Okay, so what types of adventures are there? The types of quests that you can give out for your adventures, the basic adventure building process, and then some miscellaneous recommendations. I know that looks like very little. Trust me, it will be more than enough. Objectives. I'm going to be explaining the building process for an adventure, demonstrating that process with you, and getting you to participate in that process as well. Okay, let's go straight into it. The types of adventures. What do I actually mean by that? Well, first off, we're talking about our sandbox or hex crawl. We're talking about our linear adventure. We're talking about our point crawl. First off, your sandbox or hex crawl adventure is where the characters start in a set location, but they can venture out to a new location or a new place as they explore. Okay, wherever they would like to explore, they can go. The players can go north, they can go south, east, west, or anything in between. It's completely up to them. The next one is your linear adventure. A linear adventure is where the characters start at a beginning and they follow a set pathway to a climax of the story, and this particular adventure has a very strong plot line. There are certain events that need to take place. There are certain plot points that need to take place. The last one is the point crawl adventure. It is built around meaningful locations. You don't have complete freedom, but you select some junctures. There might be multiple pathways. In fact, there usually is multiple pathways from every point or location that you explore, and you incorporate in your adventure. And ultimately, it is kind of like almost a mashing of the linear and the sandbox, but it's its own thing really. Okay, then you can have a combination of sandbox, linear, and point crawl. And some of the best adventures probably use all of this because each different type of adventure, sandbox, linear, and point crawl, all have their pros and their cons. There's a right time to use it and a wrong time to use it. And you'll find that many pre-made adventures follow the linear adventure and sandbox. This would be Wizards of the Coast. And then, of course, you will occasionally come across some third-party publishers who use the linear and point crawl combined with a sandbox as well. Okay, next let's talk about event-based adventures and location-based adventures. Now, a location-based adventure, they don't have a set plot or events that take place in a particular order. There's nothing like that. The location-based adventure is where the environment has a villain or a potential conflict that player characters can interact with. It's normal practice to have a single overall goal for the location-based adventure, but it's not really a plot as such, because the plot and the story or the adventure itself is created by the players, not by the adventure and not by the game master. The next one is the event-based adventure, and it is often set up as a flowchart with branching options from a starting point. The event-based adventure has a very strong underlying plot with additional subplots, or at least branches coming off that plot line. Time frame is very important to map out for the various events that will occur when you're dealing with an event-based adventure. It is also the one type of adventure that is the easiest for a player to undermine or essentially break, okay? Forcing a game master to actually do something else that was not planned as part of the adventure. Whereas a location-based adventure usually doesn't suffer from this problem. Okay, so those are the types of adventures that we can have, but we're not finished. We need to talk about quests. And when we talk about quests, I mean your adventure hook. And really, that's the types of quests that you can give out to your player characters, or the types of quests they may seek or want to engage in. There are 8 that I can think of. There is the fetch quest. This is when the characters have to get something from another location that is potentially a long way away. Now, Avengers Endgame is a good example where the heroes have to collect up all of the Infinity Stones, and then they're going to combine it into some gauntlet so they can undo the snap. Okay, so that's a fetch quest. You have to go and find a whole lot of things and bring them back. A delivery quest is when the characters are in the possession of an object, a person, a piece of information that they must deliver to a specific location. Now, a delivery quest, a good example of this would be Lord of the Rings, where you take the one ring to Mount Doom, have to throw it into the fire to destroy it. This is a delivery quest. Protection quests have the characters escorting a person or people to safety. Maybe it's a secondary location, or it might be at the current location or a set location where they are right now. Now, good examples of a protection quest is something like the Seven Samurai, where the Seven Samurai have to protect a village from bandits that have been attacking them. Or the Bodyguard with Kevin Costner, where the bodyguard has to protect a singer from a stalker. The next one, destroy quests or kill quests require the character to go on a monster hunt or vanquish a main villain, or they need to break or destroy some sort of object. Now, a good example of a destroy quest or kill quest is Star Wars, where you have to destroy the Death Star or the second Death Star or Starkiller Base, or you need to go and take out or kill Darth Vader or the Emperor. These are all good examples of what a destroy or kill quest would be like. Investigation quests get the characters to find new information, to investigate a murder or a mystery, solve a crime, complete a problem. Okay? Solving problems and crimes is usually your investigation quest. And a good example of this is Sherlock Holmes, where Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes are given an assignment or a task, and they have to put together clues to figure out who's murdered who or what is going on. This is often the storyline for Sherlock Holmes. Next is the negotiation quest. They require the characters to deceive or persuade someone into doing something. It might involve diplomacy, it might require them to use subterfuge, or it might involve some sort of trade. In any case, there's negotiation taking place. Now, a good example of a negotiation is definitely Star Trek. Star Trek is all about that, where you explore new worlds, you come across aliens, and you have to negotiate or trade with them in some way to ensure a good relationship continues, or to escape a bad situation. Okay, negotiation is all about Star Trek. Okay, next. Survival quests force characters into a very dangerous situation that they have to get out of. It might be a natural disaster. They might be hunted. They might have to deal with an army on a warpath trying to track them down. They might be in a prison. It's a survival situation. Now, good examples of survival are something like the Alien movie and Terminator movie. So, for example, the Alien movie, you travel to a planet where there is a crashed ship. You find on the ship there's some eggs, and of course the eggs hatch into a nasty monster that starts wiping out the crew. So you have to survive that process, and Ripley's the survivor for that story, right? And then you have the Terminator, who comes from the future to the past to kill Sarah Connor, and the idea is that Sarah Connor has to survive along with Reese. So these are good examples of survival quests. Next, the attainment quest, the last one. This has the character seek a treasure, like an object or a person, but it could also be potentially political power, political positions, land, castles, where you actually have to attain something, whatever it might be. Now, Moana and Finding Nemo are good examples of this. Moana, you have Moana who has to go and find a green stone, that will stop the oceans turning black. And then Finding Nemo is about searching for a little lost fish. So it's an attainment quest. Those are all good examples of quests, and all quests tend to be built around this. So as long as you understand that concept, you can pretty much build anything from there. Now, the basics of adventure creation and construction. This is not designed for publication. If you are trying to do publication, this advice is not for you. This advice is for somebody running their own home game. Like if you're running your own home game, this is what I've got for you. The best approach to make your own adventure that I have used was actually presented by Chris Perkins many years ago. I still use this technique. What you do is you write all of your adventure notes on a single piece of A4 paper. You have 7 headings with bullet points. And in many cases, you'll have 5 options in most cases, but not always. The first one is your adventure title or your adventure designation. Okay, this is to differentiate your session notes from one other session note, or to differentiate one adventure you're going to run from another adventure. Basically, it's just a heading. The next is your adventure hook. This is your adventure hook, your adventure goal. It might even be just a recap of the last session. Okay, all you're doing is you're using 3 or 4 sentences to construct your adventure hook or your adventure recap. The adventure goal can be all sorts of different things, but your adventure goal is essentially all of the things I just talked about, which is the types of quests that you can offer to your players. And so you take one of those 8 ideas, you build it out, you give it something a bit more specific, and there you go. You have your hook, your goal, or in whatever case, if you're already running an adventure, you'd have a recap. Okay, the next is a list of player characters. Okay, we need to know who the stars or who the main characters, the main feature of your adventure, who are they? This is to remind you that you want to build around them if possible. And when you can't, it doesn't matter, but at least you will know what their name is, their classes, their race, floor, and maybe a goal. But you're doing this in shorthand, okay? So you're going to write down the name of the player character. The name, now, I mean the character name itself, not so much the player's name, but if you need that, write that down as well. Their class, their race, maybe their floor, and a goal, okay? And 1 sentence. You're not going to use ands and ins and thus and all that sort of stuff. Forget about that. That's not important. You try to keep it to a sentence. This reminds the game master who the important characters are in the adventure. Okay? It's not your NPCs. It is the player's characters that are important. So you need to have that there. Next, create some adventure locations. I would suggest about 5 in total is good enough. Something like a town, a city, or a tavern. Usually it's just a starting point. You need to have a starting point. Often we use a tavern, city, or town, but it doesn't need to be those, but it might be one of those sorts of things. What you need for your locations is you need to have a name for the location and a basic description. That's really about it. Now, what sort of things can you have? You can have dungeons, you can have a different plane, you could have an urban environment, you could have a water-based environment, maybe it's islands, maybe it's the ocean or sea, some sort of wilderness location. There are lots of different things you can do here. My suggestion is try to use pre-made maps and realistic historic locations as your inspiration. You don't have to use them complete, but there's a good starting point. Also too, you can repurpose somebody else's maps if you need to, if you're trying to get things done fairly quickly. Now, I will say that when you are dealing with the map side of your adventure, because most adventures will require a map, but not all adventures require a map, that is usually going to be a separate piece of paper. Okay, your map is going to be your second piece of paper, which I didn't really mention before, but I'm mentioning now. Next, you need to make a list of about 5 non-player characters. You're going to write down their name, their appearance, just briefly, okay, their personality and their motivation. Out of all the things you need, their name, their appearance, their personality, and their motivation are the most important aspects of your NPC. There are different types of NPCs that you will require for your adventure. Usually you'll have the antagonist or the villain, so have that marked down. You'll probably have a patron or a quest giver. You might in some cases have a victim if there is a victim involved. And the next category is your helper or mentor. Now the helper will assist them and provide them with information as they try to complete the adventure. This is the game master giving them a breadcrumb, a clue, or a mentor who might carry on from this adventure into other adventures. So it's a long-standing helper. And the rest of your NPCs are extras. They can be shopkeepers, they can be people that they come across in any location that you might be using. Okay, next. Now that we have that, I find the best way to actually get your NPCs, the best resources out there, are frankly resources built around this. Now, I would say the Game Master's book of non-player characters is a very good book, but if you want to create your own stuff, I actually honestly think that one of the best resources is the backgrounds in the Player's Handbook for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. The Player's Handbook for Dungeons & Dragons 5e, those backgrounds might be useful for players, but they're actually far more useful for you as a Game Master. Otherwise, something like Rory's Story Cubes can help inspire ideas. Sly Flourish has presented this idea in the past, and I've used it copying what he's done. There are lots of different ways. I have a complete program for building NPCs. But as long as you understand that there are certain types of NPCs you'll require, and usually there's about 3, and the extras will be just used when you need to, great. And then, of course, you're just going to break it down into, as I said, name, appearance, personality, and motivation. Next, we want to create some different encounters. These are things that you're going to use, that they're going to do. I would suggest about 6. You probably don't need more than that. It does depend on how long your session is, but I recommend just build 6. Don't bother with random encounters. Random encounters or random combat encounters, these things don't require a lot of your time. You're not worrying about that sort of stuff. I want you to focus on encounters. It might be important or climactic battle scenes or combat encounters. It's going to be your social interactions, your social encounters, some sort of exploration process, traps, puzzles, a skill challenge. There's lots of different things out there that you can utilize, and I would recommend that you give your players a variety of different things they can engage in to make it more interesting. The last thing you need to look at is set up your rewards. Set up your rewards. You need to have some sort of reward system, okay, for the completion of the adventure. Whether it be part of a goal or the destruction of a monster or the capture of something, whatever it might be. Set up rewards for the completion of the adventure goals or some of the different stages in it. This could be character advancement, so they're leveling up. It might be a magic item. It could be political power. It can be treasure, money. It could be a non-player character relationship that they find some benefit with. It can be lots of different things. It can be narrative. It doesn't always have to be I get a magic item. I just want to make that clear now. Okay. When I run this program, I always like to give out some miscellaneous recommendations, and my miscellaneous recommendations to you are the following. Don't spend a lot of time, and don't spend all of your time on developing one concept for your adventure. Just get it done. Get it down. Okay? Otherwise, you never get to run the adventure. Don't sweat your creative ideas in the adventure because you don't know what people will actually like. Even if you know your group very, very well, one of the only ways to really be sure that an adventure is good is to run the adventure. You have to test it. And adventures work sometimes don't work for some groups. Some groups of people just that adventure doesn't appeal to them, and for another group it can definitely appeal to them. So you just have to do them and then trial them and see what happens. And you're trying to build for your group. Now, if you're trying to build adventures for a very broad audience, again, I will say that this program is not designed to teach you how to professionally publish adventures, okay? You've got to go somewhere else for that. But you're dealing with a much more difficult task to try to create something that a wide audience will like. In any case, I'm hoping this will be useful to you, and if it was, fantastic. I want to thank my patrons who support me so I can keep running this program every single week. We will be rolling back around and doing this again in about 2 months. I want to thank you for watching and listening, and hopefully you found something you can use. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, all right. So we know what we're getting ourselves into now, don't we? How's it going, Fred? Hi, Fred Hubbard. Fred Hubbard is a patron. Thank you for being here. We started looking for an old woman's lost cat and tracked it, and tracking it, we ended up in a dragon's lair. It seems the dragon thinks it's their cat. Okay, all right. How's it going, Overboard? Overboard is also a patron, also a moderator. Thank you for being here. He's got his own YouTube channel, by the way, too. Overboard's got his own YouTube channel. How's it going, Joe? I tend to build the adventure, then name it. Name it? Is it name it? Name it at the end. Yep. Well, we often do the same thing here, don't we? Every time we've done something like this, we've usually named it at the end. Okay, so I'm going to let you respond to the... So, no. So nobody here uses artificial intelligence for creating their own game adventures. So I just wanted to just quickly talk about the use of artificial intelligence for creating adventures. I'm going to make this very quick and we're going to get straight into it because we've got a lot of work to get done. For me, I think the use of artificial intelligence to create an adventure, there's nothing wrong with doing it if you're running it for your own home group. It is just a tool. It's like using artificial intelligence art, and you're presenting that to your home group because you're not very good at drawing, and this is a useful tool, and like it's honestly, it's not hurting anybody, okay? And it's provided you with some useful assets. I think the problem lies when you publish, and I'm not saying it always the case because, you know, artists do use artificial intelligence not just to write stuff, but to draw stuff. I think the problem is when it comes to using artificial intelligence to write an adventure, is you're probably not going to get a particularly good adventure. There's going to be a lot of massaging required in the first place. So you might find it's just a springboard for getting ideas. If you've got nobody to bounce those ideas off, this is why we do it here. You bounce ideas off the people here, myself and those people in chat. Hi, Charles. Charles is also a patron. Thank you for being here. So that's, I guess, my first thing I wanted to say. And I think what we will find is the issue is going to be around publication and using artificial intelligence. But for those of you who are just making stuff for your own home group, it's really nobody's business how you get your material together, frankly. It really is nobody else's business. So, but when it comes to publication, when people pay for something that's been published, and really I'm talking about stuff that's published, you can publish stuff and it be free. And really, I mean, who is that really hurting? Nobody's really benefiting from it in a monetary sense. But when you pay for something, you're expecting somebody to produce a piece of creative work. And that piece of creative work might have had some tools used in it, but they're expecting somebody to have actually spent a fair amount of time. The biggest issue that I see with artificial intelligence being used to create art and to write adventures for role-playing games is when it is just pumped out and you just wind up with essentially very tropey garbage, and then somebody puts a price tag on it. I think that's our biggest issue that we have to struggle with. Those of us who are going to purchase that and those of us who are going to try to make that sort of thing. Yeah? Anyway, let's get on to actually doing some adventure creation, because that's what we normally do here, is we make an adventure. And I see that people are already starting to sort of throw ideas in there, which is great. We obviously know what they're here for. This is a work day. We get stuff done here. And we will do this hopefully very, very fast. For those of you who thought this was going to be difficult, no. It's not as hard as it looks. Okay, here we are. This is just what we're going to start with. This is just a template. And it's a very, very simple template. There's nothing to it. I'm going to grab, actually, I might grab my phone so I can see what you're saying. There we go. I've got my phone. Need a lozenge. Make sure I'm comfortable. I apologise if my voice is a little bit wacky. It's winter here in New Zealand and it's a little bit harder than I normally have in terms of just keeping everything together. But anyway. Let's get rid of this. No. Put that button in there. And we should have my chat coming up now. There we go. How's it going, Shiner81? Hello. Cats own the world. The cat, of course, thinks it owns Granny and the dragon. Okay, so I'm going to set some parameters for you people. We are not building an event-based adventure. I'm going to take that right off the cards right now. If you're going to build an event-based adventure, you have to build that yourself. There's too many branches. It's too complicated. And to try to do it in a live stream, every time it started to go down that road, it's been a disaster. It can't be done. Okay? We're going to build a location-based adventure. That's the type of adventure we're going to build. So that means that the type of adventure hook that we have, the locations, the encounters have to be built around we're dealing with a location, not event-based adventures. I'm going to make that really clear right now. If you want to make an adventure that includes cats and dragons, I have no problem. Okay? But we can't do an event-based adventure in a live stream. It just will not work. Okay. All right, so our first task. And to make it really easy while I'm setting things up a little bit, I'm going to ask you, I need a list of player characters. So for those of you who are here, just tell me the name of a player character you're running. We're going to take that as our first port of call. Okay, because that's the first bit of information we should normally have. Hashtag. What is your character's name, class, race, floor, and motivation. Okay, so while I'm setting things up, you're going to spit out what you think would be a good starting point for that. You could use an existing character you have, it doesn't matter. We're just going to start with making a list of the characters, the player characters we have. Okay? And there. And then I need to go here. We'll do this in a second. Location. Starting point. And oops, that's not what I want. I want to take that off. It's not bold and it's not underlined. It is none of that. Not bold or underlined there. Cool, cool, cool. And we're going to do some NPCs in a second. Adventure location. And then we don't know what that is, but we're going to create something. Paladin of Loki, Sir Jester. The pun is the purpose. Okay. Yeah, all right, that's fine. We can do that. I'm looking for about 5 characters, and then we'll move on. Okay. So between Fred Hubber, Overboard, Charles, and Shiner81, we should at least get it 4. If there's somebody else out there who's willing to jump in, by all means, feel free to do so. Okay. So, Sir Jester, Paladin of Loki. What else you got here? Punter's Purpose. Okay. So there's our first note that we have for our character. Now we're not worrying about punt as the purpose. We don't have to do full. We're actually just doing a shorthand on this. Remember, we're trying to get in name, class, race, flaw, motivation. Those are the sorts of things we really want. Okay, so while you're coming up with more names, I'm going to jump in here and start filling in some of the things we need to have over here as well. So we need to have our villain, which we will be creating shortly, whatever that might be. We have our starting point, motivation and flaw. Okay. Flaw and motivation. There we go. Okay, good. All right, so we've got some Shona 81, Jothril, Orc, Barbarian, Greed. So Greed, and never looks before leaping. Okay, good. There we go. We have 2 characters. We need, I would like to have at least 4 characters. So, Charles Overboard, feel free to just create something, or maybe, yeah, there we go. Hofflin and Brownstone. Okay, Brownstone. Whoops. And what do we got here? Rogue, human. What's the easily distracted? Easily distracted. Good. And see what? Oh, I can't see it. Enough money to see. So let's just wants money to see. I'm not sure what it is. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I would like to have more characters, but if people come up with some characters along the way, we'll put them in. I don't want to stop though, I want to keep moving. We need to put in here our quest giver. Okay, and then we'll be doing some location. We should have a, I almost forgot, we need to have a reward. Rewards, need to make sure I have rewards as well. I almost forgot about that. Okay, at least one sort of reward. We'll deal with that. And there. Okay, good. Okay, so next off, we need to really start with our adventure hook. We're doing our adventure title last, but our adventure hook. What is our adventure hook going to be? Hashtag. What is the adventure hook or goal? So that's our first point of call. Before we start dealing with all the other stuff like NPCs and adventure locations and the different encounters we'll run, we need to establish what our adventure hook, our goal, and in this case maybe it's a recap. In this case we're not using a recap because we're going to do one of these, so we'll get rid of that. It's not a recap in this case, it is just a adventure hook or goal. Now you can use a book. If you've got a book available that has a whole lot of adventure hooks in it, that's fine. For those of you who are here in the chat, feel free to present some ideas and we'll have a look at them. I'm going to suggest now, if you break down the 4 types or the 8 types of quests, swipe MacGuffin from BBEG. Okay, so yes, okay, so that's not quite enough, but that's a start. So let's start with swipe. Now I need to undo this, don't I? Swipe MacGuffin from villain. Okay, there's not much going on there right now, so we need a bit more information. Otherwise, we're not going to get very far. I'm going to suggest to you now one of the easiest ways to get around coming up with adventure hooks is to find a table that has like a random selection that you can pick from. There's a book that I don't like to promote Wizards of the Coast books, but I have to say that Mythic Odysseys of Theros is one of the best books I've seen them put out. Do you know what I mean? It's set up so that you can create your own adventures very easily. It's got all the assets that you require. A bejeweled golden cat figure. So, okay, swipe a jeweled golden cat figurine. Okay, from villain. Okay, so there we go. It's a swipe job. Ah, okay, interesting. So return MacGuffin. So it's loss wasn't noticed. Okay, so we've got a few ideas so far. Well, we can deal with naming villains and so forth. We can do later, because we can change that stuff in. We just need to decide, like, if we're doing something like that, where are that? I mean, the first question is, if you're stealing a golden cat figure from a villain, where do they have to go to steal it from the villain? Like, we probably need a location for that. Remember building a location-based adventure? So that's actually very, very good. That works out really nicely if we have something like that. I'm going to get rid of my hat. The hat's not going to help me. Okay. Any other ideas? Any other ideas? Look, if you have an adventure that you're trying to build and it's location-based, today's the day to present it, because we can do that. MacGuffins belong to Granny, rich old widow, and town has it. So we're in town. Is it in old Granny's town house? Is that what we're talking about? Is it a town house? Because there's not a lot going on in a little town house. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like the sort of place that you would stick something as important as this. I would like to point out. So we need to have a location that is relatively interesting, because there's going to be exploration taking place at some point, correct? And if you don't have some sort of exploration taking place, then how does that work? Okay, an estate. A suit in the BFG's estate. Okay, mother-in-law's Okay, so let's go with a mansion. Swipe a bejeweled sorry. Sorry. Swipe a bejeweled golden cat figurine from the villain's we're getting very complicated as why do we need a granny and why do we need a mother-in-law? Why is the bejeweled golden cat figure why is it not just in the villain's mansion? Why don't we just go with steal it from the villain's mansion? Really what we're talking about here is something like I mean really it's kind of like what do you call it? I can't remember the name of it. With the cars, the 3 cars or 4 cars, the minis, and anyway. Could be a hag. Let's just put the mother-in-law in the villain's mansion. Okay, swipe a bejeweled golden cat figurine from the villain's mansion. Super simple, super easy. Okay. Let's just go with that. The simpler we make it, the more likely it's going to work. The more complicated and convoluted we make it, the less likely it will work. So let's keep it simple. Okay, so now that we have that, there are some things we need to have. We now have our adventure location, which is the mansion. We'll need the name of the mansion. We need a starting point. We need some potential maybe the mansion is it located beyond a forest or along in a particular town? Is there a town involved? Are we talking about a town? Or are we talking about a city? So the Italian, yeah, thank you, Shiner81. The Italian job. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Hashtag. So select and name the key locations. So that's our first job, is starting point. We need to decide where we're going to start, where what the name of the mansion is. Okay, so I can do a bit of a brief description of that. Do we have a city or a town that the mansion is in? Is it in a desert town? Okay, what's the name of the desert town? So if we're dealing with a desert town, happiest Larry to go desert town. Now I feel like this, the quick and the dead. We have a mansion in a desert town. Yeah, Gene Hackman will be happy. So we need a name of the town in the desert. What's it called? Bolster. Okay, all right. So, Bolstandest City. Okay, so we need a little bit of a description. Tell me a little bit about the city. Otherwise, it doesn't work very well. Again, remember, we need to know the name of the mansion. Because usually a mansion will have a name, right? If it's an important place, it'll have a name. Otherwise, but again, not enough information going on. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck. Ugh. I wonder if my chat's falling behind. Might be. I'll just refresh. Let's go here. And press this button here. Oh, no, that one. Okay. Cool. All right. So, and at some point, while we're doing this, there's going to be we're going to have to steal it. Okay, so I guess the statue security. Room or vault. I don't know. Are we putting it in a vault or a safe? Okay, cool. All right. We've got a bit more information on it now. Well, is it a city or is it a town? Fortified city. Fortified with a wall and castle. 6,000 people. And surrounded by oasis. Okay, that's a complete location. We've got enough information on that one. Good. Okay. Okay, so we have the city, we have a town. Okay, all right, the desert town is gone then. This almost feels like it's a desert city rather than a desert town. Fortified. And desert. Okay. Surrounded by an oasis. Okay. So I just oasis. Near oasis. There we go. Right, cool. How's it going, big kid? How are you? How are you doing today? So, a traveling marketplace. So what's the traveling marketplace called? Like, what are we going to call it? There. Okay, we need a name of our traveling marketplace. I'm all for it. Let's have a traveling marketplace. And while you are coming up with that idea, I need to do some homework. Today's the day. How's it going, big kid? How are you? Oh, if I can just get this thing to not pop up when I don't want it to pop up. Darn it. It won't let me get it there. This heart thing, this heart symbol is in like the worst place. The Howling Bazaar. Yes. Oh, darn. No, okay, so I'm gonna wait until it drops down a bit more. Okay, good. All right, we'll come back to that. I'm trying to click on a button and I just can't get at it. Sorry about that, people. Should have guessed that YouTube would make something that was really cool, but really painful as well. Okay, the Howling Bazaar. Chamels Camels. Well, let's do that. So, camels. A traveling marketplace. Okay, so we have a traveling marketplace they can explore. We're going to get rid of our desert town now. We don't need that anymore. We don't have our starting point. Have we established that this the city is our starting point, or do we have are we starting at a tavern? Where are we starting? Like, where is it all taking place when we first begin? Okay, I'm going to put in Howling Bazaar because that just sounds fun. You like Howling Bazaar more? Okay, all right, that's fine. We'll change it out. Bazaar. There we go. Cool. Lovely. Now we're getting somewhere. We're starting to have some bits and pieces come together. Okay, so we're going to have to come back to locations. We're obviously not finished here, but let's start working on some NPCs, because we really need some NPCs. Because right now we don't have enough of that. We just have a bit of a structure. Hashtag. Need some NPCs. NPCs. Okay, so we need a villain. Quest giver. Quest giver. And maybe a helper. Somebody who can drop hints. Hi Eddie, how's it going? Start on the way to the city. Okay, well, if we're on the way to the city, we need a desert. If we're on the way to let's at least have the desert. What's the name of the desert? We need the name of our desert, at least that. Okay, so we need a villain name, we need a quest giver name, and we will be needing a helper. Alan's Ale House. There we go. Now we've got a starting point. Alan's Ale House. So Alan or Ellen? Ellen. Okay, so Alan's Ale House. Yes. Slash. Okay. All right, let's put in here. Alan. Ale House proprietor. Proprietor. Okay. Maybe need a little bit more. The slash desert. Okay, then we'll do that. Slash desert. Let's make it a painted desert. Painted desert. Yeah, okay, that'll do. Cool. All right, so we've got a villain. To give people an idea of where we're at so far, the idea is that your goal is to swipe a jeweled golden cat figure from the villain's mansion. We have our characters. If you want to create a character and drop it in, I just need to have the name of the character, the player character, their race, their class, their flaw, and their motivation. Okay, we've only got 3 right now. We could do with 2 more, but that'd be nice. Okay, we have a name for our mansion now. There we go. So far we've got Jester, Jothril, and Hofflin. Brownstone. Okay, so let's do the mansion. Okay, so okay. Good. Paulin Estate. And I'll put down here, Villain's Mansion. Now, you guys had mentioned there could be a hag. That is the grandmother. Okay, what's the deal with a hag? I need a name for a hag. Where's the name of the hag? Okay. It's an NPC. Hag. Grandmother of villain. Okay. All right. Okay, now I can finally get in there and do this for the sorcerer or wizard. Okay, good. All right, so we've got a character name. Okay, all right, cool. So let me just jump over here. This might actually work this time. I'll come back to the document in a second. There he is. Finally, gotcha. All right. Today is the day. So Big Kid has been a patron with me for a while now, and today is the day that he is becoming a moderator. Be good, Big Kid. Be good. Okay. There we go. It is done. Thank you for the support, Big Kid. I do appreciate it. Okay, so now I go back to my document and we actually get on with the task at hand, which is building this adventure. And drop in the information that you've presented. Sweet. Secretly a lich, and the cat is a phylactery. Ah, yeah. So we've got to have a cat now. Aha, cat. I need the name of the cat now. If we're going to do this, we're going to need the name of the cat. Cat. Is phylactery. Run for your lives. That's right. Run for your lives. He's got one. That's right. He's got a wrench now. Anyway, right. Let me get down your ideas. Hag name. Okay, we've got the hag name. Good. Ludmilia. Ludmilia. Hag. Okay. Cat bejeweled gold. Yes, it's a bejeweled golden cat figure. Yes, we need a cat name. Exactly. Dear. Secret Lich, a hag name, Jinsai, not Jinsai, and they are cleric. Okay, so this is for a character name, I believe. Ashala. Let's go sorcerer. Okay. I don't have any much more information other than that for that, so yeah, I'm not too sure where we're going with that one. That is that owner. Owner is the name of the cat. Really? You want the cat's name to be Owner? Okay, and then we've got Luna. Owner or Luna? Okay, I'm rolling a dice for this. I don't know, which one do I prefer? It is going to be... What do I roll? Oh, it's Luna. I got a 13. Okay. It's the second choice. Luna. And then Owner. We might use Owner for something else, though. Who is that? We don't have a quest giver yet, so I mean, maybe Owner can be the quest giver. We need a quest giver. Who's that going to be? We need a name, a little bit of information, like what they look like, personality trait, and like a motivation. Okay. Yeah, I've got Luna. Somebody has got. Oh dear. I still win. Yeah. Owner's not off the cards. Owner could be something else. It's all good. Yes, you do. You do win the clue. Exactly. You've won the clue. Well done. I'm impressed. Lovely. We still haven't got a name for our villain. We still haven't actually sort of designated enough information. Like, if any character is important, any non-player character is important in your adventure, it's the villain. Right now, we've actually got more information on the villain's grandmother than the villain in this case. Okay. Quest giver. Okay, so Big Kid has given me a quest giver. There we go. Now we're talking. Jen D. Die. What an awful name. You made it difficult. Okay, all right. So we've got a name for our quest giver. Okay. Quest giver, and then we just need to go here and go leader of a Jinn cult. Earth Genasi. Okay, yes, we can do that as well. Earth Jinn Genasi. How did we get Genesis? We got Genasi instead, didn't we? Villain's name is still Wern. Okay, all right. We have a name. That's good. Unless somebody comes up with something better. Genasi. I think that's it. Okay, so villain. Okay. Oh, okay. Tiberius. So we got a couple of good names there. I think what we'll do is I'm going to take Cal Fear Tiberius Ormouth. Okay. All right, our villain. We don't know very much about our villain. I just like to point out that our villain is kind of a mystery. We haven't got very much information on our villain, which we probably should have. And then the other name, I'm actually going to drop down here as well, because we might be able to use it. Is still Rorn. Don't know who that's going to be. Maybe that'll wind up being a helper that assists them somewhere along the line, whoever that helper might be. Okay, so we've got the name of our villain. We've got the villain's cat is a phylactery. Villain's cat. Cat is phylactery. A lich. Our villain is a lich. So we know that. Any system. It is system agnostic. We're just making an adventure. We don't need to make an adventure for a game system. We can make it for any. There is no system. The system is whatever system you're playing. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of these adventure building exercises that we do, is that we make an adventure that you could use in any system. Honestly, it would not matter. Okay, all right. So we've got a few different elements. I want you to start thinking about some of the encounters we'd use. We're going to come back and have to tidy up some of this. Like, there's still a bit of tidying to be done, granted. But we've got quite a bit of the bits and pieces that we need. We need encounters. So what I want you to do is think about the different rooms or locations within a mansion. Since they've got to break into the mansion to get in there and do stuff, hashtag what rooms can we use as encounter locations? Okay. Remember, this is a drow. Tiberius is drow. A drow lich. Okay. Drow lich. Got it. We're dealing with an event location, not an event, a location-based adventure. So we want to think about the various rooms within the mansion that we can use as our encounters. We don't want the adventure taking place somewhere else. We want the main thing they're going to do in the mansion. So that's why I'm saying what rooms can be used as encounter locations, okay, in a mansion. So that's what your homework is. I'm going to take a quick break, go use the toilet, come back, see what you've come up with, and we'll start filling out this, come up with some ideas about what could be taking place in that room that they have to contend with. That would be always good. If you can't, just come up with the name of the room and we'll start with that. Okay? All right. So Arnold will look after you. I will go take a break, do my business, come back, and we'll continue. Oh, I can see. Look, now we're talking. I can see it all coming together. The attic. Pardon me. Okay, back to work. So we have mansion, we have a library. Fine, library. Okay. We have to figure out what we're going to do with the library, but we'll do it. Dining room. Dining room. Yes. Dining room. Try that again. What else you got here? You have a game room, hunting trophies and such. What do we call this? Gallery. We can have a gallery. We don't have any information about what's going to take place here, what is actually in those locations, and how they will be tied in terms of encounters, but an attic. Somebody comes up with some ideas for the attic. Good. A foyer, a lobby. A foyer, a lobby. Solarium, a dining room. Okay. Solarium. Okay. What else? Estate grounds. We're going to go with estate grounds. Okay. Estate grounds. Yeah, I suppose we can put that in here. And grounds. What are we doing with that? You let me know. Smaller door that leads. Who knows? It's locked. Okay. You're talking about a cupboard. Ballroom. Okay, ballroom. What do you got here, Shiner? There is no kitchen. Interesting. Dear. Foyer. Somebody had said foyer. Foyer or lobby. We need to do something with that. Okay, so we've got plenty of things. Now we need some stuff going on. Hall of Mirrors. Okay. Let's go to the gallery. Gallery with... Oops. Let's try it again. Well, what have I done? Oh, no. Cancel. Gallery. Trophies. Trophies. Come on. Trophies. Somebody had mentioned a whole bunch of other stuff as well here. I'm just looking very quickly and plucking bits and pieces. Interesting. Trophies with a... what have you got here? All right. Hall of Mirrors. So what does a Hall of Mirrors look like? What are we doing there? You've got down. No wine, they take tired and clean up. Okay. A weapons room. A weapons room. Okay. So we've got lots of ideas. Now we actually have to do something with them. So you have to come up with an idea at weapons. You have to come up with what's going to be the encounter. What's special about that location? What's going on there? Okay. Have a fountain with 4 statues and it's a puzzle of some sort. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. So grounds has a fountain. With 4 moving statues that need to be repositioned to solve a puzzle and reveal a secret area. Secret. Let's go secret passageway, shall we? Into the mansion. I'm also going to put in here, since we haven't done that yet, maybe a master bedroom. Okay. Cool. Gallery of animals are undead. Okay, so let's go back to the gallery of animals. Trophies of animal heads gallery. Animal. Come on. Animal heads that are undead. And spring to life. To life. Act as an alarm. And guards. Right. So let's build this out. A gallery of trophies. Gallery trophies of animal heads and stuffed creatures that are undead and spring to life and act as an alarm and guards. Pretty staple, like it's a pretty common thing to do in any location, but we've got it. Upon touching a weapon, you go into a trance, revealing all the weapons history. You can have a mechanic if you okay. All right, overboard. I'm trying to decipher this. Weapons room. More importantly, remember the final location, which is where the statue is going to be sitting. We need to have, like, what's that going to be? Is it a large vault? Okay. Is it just a safe? Is it kept in a safe? And is the safe kept in the master bedroom? Or, like, where is it going to be kept? Like, you've got to decide where that's going to be. Yeah? All right. So, weapons room. Let's do the weapons room. Drink of water. Getting dry. Okay, so touching. Okay, so full of weapons and armor. Touching anything. It's touching weapons. Laboratory, concoctions. Okay, all right. Touching weapons. Puts you into a trance, revealing the weapons history. Okay, all right, so we've got that. You can have a mechanic. Okay. Okay, so changing personality. Touching a weapon puts you into a trance, revealing the weapon's history. And changes. Personality. Okay, alright, so we've got that one. Good. Hall of Mirrors. Alright, so I can see that's starting. We've got laboratory. Let's get that in there. We don't really need new locations. We just need to build on what we have, people. So, yeah, because 13 is getting to be a lot. Okay. Loom. Milliers. Laboratory. It sounds very familiar what you've written here. It sounds really, really familiar. I almost recognize it from a... What's it from? Sinbad and the Seven Seas? Is it Sinbad and the Seven Seas? I feel like it is Sinbad and the Seven Seas. We can still... I still think it's... Yeah, let's include it. That's cool. Let's make that happen. Let's just copy and paste it, though. I'm going to sort of jump and just drop this stuff in very quickly. And it's drop Big Kids, the Hall of Mirrors. Right, copy, and we'll drop that in as well, and then we'll go back. And question. Okay, alright, so I can just... Subspecies, vampire movie. Oh, subspecies. It's from subspecies, is it? Ha ha. Now I know. Oh, alright. Okay. There we are. So, they are there. So, Lumala's laboratory concoctions, and experiments where the party fights here. Okay. And she summons blood golems. Okay, okay. Let's are set up with say fragile equipment, and we're going to go Lou Milia summons blood golems by throwing vials to the ground. Is somebody using ChatGPT? DDP, GDP, GPT, DDT, DDT. Files to the ground. Okay. Ground. If the characters fight her. Okay, good. Got it. Alright. Has 4 doors with mirrors on them and an element above. Each door is the same sequence of elements but must go through in reverse order. Failure causes ghosts to appear. Okay, I don't know. That's kind of a bit of a mess. What's going on? I'm gonna have to decipher this. Big Kid, did you use does AI? Because it feels like it's AI. Has 4 doors with mirrors on them. Hall of Mirrors has 4 doors with mirrors on them, and an element above. It's the same sequence of elements, but you must go through in reverse order. Failure causes a ghost to appear. That's pretty messy. That's very, very confusing. Let's just take it down to its essentials. Let's get rid of this. If we're going to have a hall of mirrors, let's make it a hall of mirrors. Let's take all of that. It's just your idea. I don't know how to explain that because right now it doesn't. I'm reading it and I don't understand. So I'm going to distill it down. I'm going to take the ghost idea. Okay. There are 4 doors. 4 doors in the hallway with mirrors on them. Okay, that's our first point. Full stop. Okay, that I can get. Now, the reverse order, same sequence of elements, but I must go. So let's go here. Going through a door with a mirror causes a duplicate image of the individual to appear in the mirror if they walk through. Okay. That'll just scare them. Yeah, I guess like John Wick, like Enter the Dragon. Yeah, I think that's where it is. The mirrors is just to understand the solution is the reverse order. Yeah. I'm going to just go with, it creates a duplicate image of the individual to appear in the mirror if they walk through. One, it'll probably scare them and they won't know what's going on. Or Conan the Destroyer, yes, Big Kid. I remember, yeah, Big Kid. That's right. So, smashing the mirrors. Let's do that. They will smash the mirrors. Smashing the mirrors. Destroys the duplicates. Okay, so let's go here. Causes a duplicate, an evil duplicate image of the individual to appear in the mirror if they walk through. Okay, let's do that. There we go. We've got something. We could duplicate their alignment, but there's so few people using alignment nowadays, I don't think there's much point. So let's just go with evil. Evil Stevel. Okay. Nice. Good. We need a vault or a safe. Have we decided if we want a vault or a safe this adventure? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations. We probably should be doing something with the foyer or lobby. It's really completely up to you. Let's have a suits of shining armor. Decorate the walls. Suits of shining armor. Suits of. I'm almost tempted to put something weird here. Of suits of strange. Does anybody remember the original Batman? And there's this gallery and or you could say it like a hallway or a foyer area, and it's just full of just weird types of suits. A vault hidden underneath Tib's bed. Okay. We can do that. We'll put a vault there. So okay. All right. So master bedroom. Foyer or. So let's go with lobby. Lobby? No, lobby feels like a big place. Let's go with foyer. Suits of strange of different strange shaped armor decorate the walls. Okay, so we've got a ballroom, a solarium. Okay, master bedroom. Large, elegant, elegant, I think that's right. Large, elegant, double bed, tall boys, tall chests, tall dresses, clothing chests, and wall painting. A trapdoor is under the bed. Leading to the vault. All right. Okay, so we're going to have a vault by the sounds of it. Vault. Come on, Fred. Let's do that. Is there anything special about the master bedroom where this vault is? I'm assuming that the master bedroom may well be for show. It's probably never used. If you're dealing with a lich, it's probably never used, right? Long table and fine wooden chairs. Quick side. Okay, we can do that. Large, elegant, double bed, tall, painting. Okay, wall painting. Wall painting of got to be a picture of himself. Okay. Oh, let's put rug. Okay. The rug is magical quicksand. That traps that one standing on it sinks into. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. The full posts of the bed are shaped like cats. Okay. All right. So let's deal with the actual. Now we've got the master bedroom. Let's deal with the vault itself. What does the vault look like? Let's deal with the vault itself, where we're going to find this thing they're going to steal. Okay. Before we run out of time. But the bedposts being carved cats is fine. We can do that. Large, elegant double bed with cats carved into the 4 posts. Okay, got it. Elegant. Canopy. I think it's canopy, isn't it? Canopy. Double bed. Elegant. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Nice. All right. So that's the master bedroom pretty much locked down. But we definitely need to think about the vault. We've still got a library if somebody's got an idea for the library. Okay. Vault door magically locked. So it's magically locked. Got it. Oh, God. Magically locked opens when the words Here Kitty are spoken in drought. Okay. That's going to be a bit of a problem. All right. Okay. So you've created a lock on a vault. So now they're going to figure out. They're going to say, "Here, Kitty." That's presenting a much more difficult situation. I feel like now you're forcing that you will have to have an interaction with the hag or the lich. Yes, love wasted in thieves' time. Dear, good one. All right, so what is inside? Like what is it inside the vault? Like what does it look like inside the vault? We don't really have anything like that at this present time. It would probably be good if we did, but we don't at present. We will make our Alan, the alehouse proprietor, a helper. So go cut. Just add this in now. And paste that. Okay. So, helper. Provides information on Toulon Estate. Somebody's going to want to ask some stuff, so we can do that there. Has a special ale recipe. Anti-gravity. An anti-gravity spell on it. Well, that causes some interesting problems, does it not? Copy. So the vault. Okay. Jeweled golden cat figurine stored with other treasures in vault. We need to get peanut butter stout. What? Okay, the vault has an anti-gravity. Okay. So let's make it an iron box. Large metal box, not made of stone, with anti-gravity magic affecting the whole area. You'll be floating. Okay. One scroll had a secret door in the. It's empty except for one scroll, and had a secret door in the floor. Too much going on. I'm going to take some of it out. It's empty except for one scroll. Okay. Well, no. This is where we have to have our jeweled golden cat figurine stored, with a single scroll. With a single scroll in the vault. Okay. Okay. Fred. Last bottle of Zimmer Evan essence. What? Butterbeer. Okay, so where am I supposed to be putting this butterbeer? How is it we've gone off on a strange tangent somehow. Should I be surprised? Zimmer was ahead of his time. Okay. Okay, all right. So let's your butterbeer recipe and so forth. I'm not honestly sure where I'm supposed to stick it, but let's have a look here. There's a lot of problems with this adventure, people. There's a lot of problems that are going to take a lot of massaging. Okay, so what's our reward? Well, it's going to be the figurine, obviously. So let's get that down here before we forget. And let's say gain a level. If you're dealing with a lich, I feel like you managed to steal their stuff. It seems reasonable that you gain a level. Okay, next. Somebody had said something about a ballroom. I can't remember what they said about the ballroom. It's way back here somewhere. Someone's just knocked on my door. Pardon me. I'm going to go find out what that is. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Okay, that's that done. Let's just back here. Sorry about that. Somebody knocked on the door and I had to figure out what was going on. And yep, apparently it's my election notification stuff. Okay, right. Ballroom, full of one-way mirrors which hide secret passageways to other locations. Oh, okay. I hadn't spotted that. Well, let's do that. Let's add that in. Let's give it a golden walls and marble floor. With animal frescoes. Okay, so you had said here full of one-way mirrors which hide secret passageways. messages to other locations in the mansion. Okay. One large. Let's go with one. One large, one a large one way. A large one way. One way mirror which hides secret passageways to other locations in the mansion. Okay, so we've got that down. Good. Sorry, I missed that before. I didn't spot it. I mean, I did, but yeah, I missed it. What's that? Not from the front. I'm not too sure what that means. I'm not sure what that's related to. Yeah. Okay, so we still have the library, we have the attic, and then you have the solarium. Well, basically the solar room, basically, which is like a living room. So it would be good to be able to have something for at least that location. Not so much the library. We don't have to put a library in there. The attic, you may never go to the attic. We put here full of old skeletons. There's skeletons in the attic. Okay. All right. Unless somebody says something else, that's what I'll put there for now. Next. Take this. Move that out of the way. Last bottle of Zimmer ever essence. This is okay. So let's see. Library. Estelle Warren's diary. Okay, so this is related to Fred Hubbard's idea. Where do I put this? Estelle Warren. Long lost long lost what do you call it? Lich. You won't necessarily find the character in the, but let's put them in the library. So this walls of books and scrolls. So we have a library. Let's put this, Estelle Wynn's diary entry talks of his search for bacon recipes bacon curing and accidentally come on, becoming a lich by food preservation. Okay, food preservation. So apparently this may be how this all happened in the first place. Last bottle of so here we go. Beer recipe. How do we get the beer recipe? There's a beer recipe. That's right. You wanted a beer recipe in the vault. I had forgotten. So this is what the scroll is all about. Ah, okay. The scroll has a special Ale recipe called butterbeer stout. Okay, and then we have Solarum, attic, dining room. Here we go. A luxurious living room with sofas and coffee table. Let's put a sofa, piano. Let's give them a piano. Oops, piano. Coffee table. A bottle of Zimmer Evan Essence. Sits open on the piano. Okay, there was a lot going on there. I've written down a lot. We have, I think, more than adequately covered a lot of this. Got to run, dinner time, no problems. Hey, thank you for your assistance and your ideas. I've tried to mash everybody's stuff into here. It's been a bit of a task, but I got there. So yes, so we've got our rewards, we've got our different events or encounters. We've got a bunch of NPCs, and that should just about do what we need it to do. I think that's pretty much covered most of the things we needed to worry about. A few things kind of need filling out, but it's mostly covered. And we really, what we need is a name. Hashtag name the adventure. What is the name of this adventure? If you think of a name for the adventure later on, just put it in the comments section when the live stream is ended. I have to go to work. Right now we do not have a name for this adventure, but it's a structure. It's definitely a heist. And we've got most of our elements that we required. And really, draw a map and you're ready to go. Cat treat. We're going to call it cat treat. If anybody has some other suggestions, put them forward and I'll mark them down. In any case, we've got we've got a heist. Ah, dear. Let's go and steal something from a lich in their mansion. Sounds like a really good idea. Let's do that. Nothing could possibly go wrong if we try to do something like that. Not at all. Anyway, hey, thank you to everybody who's been here today. We got a lot done. And surprisingly, it all seemed to come together in the end, which is good. Because I was a little bit worried there for a little bit. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of my patrons who support me on Patreon. Without your assistance, it just would not have happened. And you've done a great job with presenting your ideas. I really am quite impressed. I want to say thank you for those of you who took part in the poll today. It's really helpful if you do that, because then I get a better idea of what's going on. Interesting to know that most people here do not use artificial intelligence to make their adventures, which doesn't really surprise me at all, because you wouldn't come to a live stream that deals with adventure building if you were just going to use artificial intelligence and ChatGPT anyway, to a large extent, I would imagine. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So whether you're watching or just listening, and so huge thank you to everybody who took part today. I'm marking down your ideas, and I have most of them. Shona81, I have got your idea. The Liches Cat sounds fine to me as well. I think that's quite a good idea, actually. So, wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.